lies.
Yo, what up, body bags? Happy Monday. Sorry about the lighting in my room right now. It's not the best just because of the time of day it is, but been a really busy day doing stuff, recording new podcasts and all that. So getting to this a little later than I wanted to, but most recent movie that I watched that hasn't been reviewed on Body Bags channel already is a movie called, can't really see it that well, but Traces of Death. I've always liked Faces of Death and all that, and I know 3/4 of Faces of Death is fake, but they just always intrigued me. I know it's kind of sick, but they always did. But I've always heard about Traces of Death, and I've always wanted to check it out, but I never was able to find it at a good price. So I just never saw it, and I heard that pretty much 100% of this was real, and so that obviously intrigued me more. But what was it? In November, December, they had like a big sale, Brain Damage Films, and they had this box set which had the 1 through 5 on sale for $50. So I jumped on it, and on my channel later I'll do a whole box set review of the other sequels. But I've heard this one notoriously is pretty intense, and I gotta say, when I popped it in, it was about as intense as I could imagine. I mean, there's stuff with people with their noses completely chopped off or whatever, just really horrific images and stuff, and the music they got is kind of eerie, like it adds to the whole vibe of the movie and all that. But the narrator, it's almost like, I mean, I'm a big horror fan and stuff, and I'm not judging it or anything like that. Like, I still like having the movie, I still like it, I guess you could say, but the narrator almost, it's kind of distasteful a little bit, because the narrator will be making jokes and stuff about the people you see on the screen, and it's not one of those things that bothers me, but it would bother a lot of people, I'm sure. But it is kind of weird when you see like an actual dead person on the TV, like you see him dying, and there's someone cracking jokes about it. But that is what it is. Like I said, I still really enjoy the movie, if you could use that word, enjoy. But basically, this is literally like Faces of Death. It's just a collection of real footage of people dying. It's like I said, it's a step up from Faces of Death, because it's all 100% real. And one of my biggest fears was there's going to be a lot of medical scenes, and there are, but they're intense medical scenes. Like, they're cutting brains in half and stuff, and it's just brutal stuff. And I will be the first to admit that I could usually handle pretty much anything, but I did have to pause this about halfway through and kind of chill and do some other stuff, because this is about an hour and a half, and about halfway through, it's not that it gets too brutal, it's just it almost gets too slow, because you're being bombarded with so much brutal stuff that it almost just, you get immune to it, to where it just gets boring after a certain point. But I did pause it, and I came back a few hours later and watched the second half, and it re-energized me, and I was able to enjoy the second half. But that's my biggest worry with this. Like, I'm going to do a review, like I said, on my channel of the whole entire box set. Now, I keep saying it's going to be my next video, but it's hard to watch them all, man, like, one after another. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to do the whole box set. Like I said, it took me 2 sittings to watch this movie, and this is actually, I think, it's an hour and a half. But yeah, it took me 2 sittings, so I mean, there's 4 more to go after this, so I don't know how long it'll take me for those. I did hear that I think number 3 or 4 is the most intense out of all of them, so we'll see. And I know the later sequels, they have like death metal and hardcore soundtracks. This, like I said, is like synth stuff and kind of creepy sounding stuff. I'm interested to see what the other ones look like, accompanied by like thrash and death metal. But yeah, I'd only recommend this if you're not faint of heart, like you could actually handle stuff like this. If Faces of Death was too much for you, it's guaranteed Traces of Death is going to be too much for you. Like the animal stuff in Faces of Death, if you thought that was hardcore, it's a lot more hardcore in this. Like, there's stuff that just brutal stuff they do with animals that you're better off, if you're interested in it, just buying it. Brain Damage Films says they only had like 150 copies left. That was about a month ago. I don't think a ton of people are buying it, but they said after this 150 are gone, gone forever. They're not reprinting anymore. I'm not really sure what's going on with their site, but everything they had for sale is now digital only. I don't know what they're doing as a company, like if they're stopping or what, but yeah, they said, it's going to be $50 as far as I know till it's all sold out, but after that it's sold out for good. So yeah, I definitely jump on it if you're even remotely thinking about getting this. But yeah, it's definitely something that I love having in my collection, just because if a horror fan came over and hadn't seen it and I wanted to show them something to shock them or really mess them up, this would be the first thing I'd pick out. Don't want to go too long here. I'm not even going to bother giving it a rating because it's not like an actual film. It's just, like I said, a barrage collection of just death scenes and stuff. So I'm not really going to bother rating it, but I do recommend it if you're into extreme cinema. I don't think any collection would be complete if you're a huge extreme cinema enthusiast. But yeah, so at $50, braindamagefilms.com. The website's a little sketchy, but I did get mine. So anyways, guys, peace.